Good morning, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. You're looking at the San Juan here. I can't pronounce the name of the ship. Nepomuceno. So a little history today while we're looking at this exquisite museum piece of art built in 2020, finished in January 2021. The HMS Bounty is the ship we're building now. I got the lights off in here because of the reflection on this glass in the camera. The HMS Bounty in the movies, there's a lot of movies made about the Bounty, and the mutiny on the Bounty is one of the big names. But it was commissioned by MGM Studios for the 1962 movie Mutiny on the Bounty. And of course that was a reproduction of the ship based on the specs, but it was built 30% larger than the original ship. Of course, Christian Fletcher burned the ship off of that island that they escaped to, Pitcairn Island, and since then the ship was rebuilt for MGM Studios, 30% larger than the original. So it was a little wider, a little longer, a little taller, and it was also used in the filming of the 1989 Treasure Island movie. She was portrayed in Long John Silver's Española. She also appeared in 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and, believe it or not, a SpongeBob SquarePants movie. She sank during the Hurricane Sandy in October 2012, and Captain Robin Wilbert went down with her. So that's sad, but the Bounty lives on here in our little shop as we continue to be the one of many people that are building the Bounty and reconstructing her to the original specs. The San Juan, the warship, and I'm looking here because there's a cut sheet inside the display case. It had 28 24-pounder cannons, 30 18-pounder cannons, 8 12-pounder cannons, and 8 8-pounder cannons. 8 officers, 11 midshipmen, 19 leading seamen, and 492 able-bodied seamen. So you can see a couple of them there climbing up the rat lines. There's some officers over there on the deck. We got little people all over the ship, different places, officers and sailors. Had a supply capacity of 50 days, and could last 80 days in winter or on the water, depending on where they were going. Rendered numerous important services to the Armada fleet, some of them in the Caribbean. We participated in several Signia Wars and distinguished in 1779 and the Battle of Trafalgar, which is another movie, I think, and is a historical fact which it participated in. We're having a little history here. This ship has got a lot of years behind it, and if you look back on my channel, you can see all the build videos that took place over almost a 2-year period to build this ship. But I was doing a lot of other stuff at the same time, so you don't always work on something every day the same. Well, this was a fun build. I learned a lot, and a lot of techniques that I'm using on this Bounty ship now. We learned while we were building this one. And of course we built the display case too to put it in with some nice LED lighting that's overhead to highlight everything on there. And this is a plexiglass, or Lexan, I should say. I think the plexiglass is a lot softer. You can bend it and stuff, and the Lexan is not. It's brittle. But the Lexan was a little harder to work with. It's a 1/4 inch thick, or a 1/8 inch thick Lexan. So because it was thin enough that it was hard to work with, hard to cut without cracking it. We got one little crack in one corner that's barely visible. But other than that, it came out good. And we built the base there too. That's not part of the kit. That's all custom scratch built work, the stands and everything to hold the ship up, and then built the case to fit it, which took several weeks and a lot of design and redesign and redo this and change the way you do that until we finally figured it out. So that's the introduction for today's video. We're gonna fire the lights and the fans up and move the Bounty back into position and start tying and cinching some dead eyes this week for the mizzen mast. As we got the main mast and the foremast done, so now we got to work on getting the mizzen mast done, and then we'll work on some boards to go across here before we tie rat lines. Then there'll be tons of other standing rigging to do before we start on the rest of the sails and everything. So that's the plan right now. I noticed a lot of you are watching from Facebook in those different modeling groups. I would just encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like these videos. A good percentage of the viewers are from outside the YouTube world, and It would help my channel greatly to grow more. We're a little bit above 1,100 subscribers now, which is a great accomplishment for doing something like this, and I'm just overwhelmed with the comments and the support we get from outside. You know, all the time I go to Facebook, I've got 30 to 50, sometimes 75 different likes or comments, and that's encouraging too. So if you're a Facebook watcher, of course you gotta click on the screen or the picture on the screen, and it'll take you right to YouTube to watch the video. But while you're in that format watching the video, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. It's free, and like the videos, and that would really help the channel grow. So, paka. So we got the rest of the shrouds done to the dead eyes, and now I'm making the boards that are going to be at the railing level. And I use this to cut in there and get it opened up enough for the thickness of those shrouds where they're got the cinching on them, because it's going to be right in the area where the cinching is. And I did two at the same time, so I'm going to have to open this one up a little more. It'll be for the other side. And that board goes on there before we get to tying the rat lines. So let's see how this fits without making these dead eyes turn. We got just enough thickness of that cinching on the shroud to make a snug fit. Yeah. So do I want them there? Because down here we may want that. We want those boards at the same level. That's what they're showing here, in the same plane. This one here looks like it's higher, doesn't it? Yep. So that's because there's no railing on the deck in this area. It's only back here. The railing's up high. I think I want to make that a little higher than this railing here. And then do we want to put this on there where you don't see the cut? Like that. Yeah, I think that's better. And then we can super glue super glue that in there to help hold these dead eyes straight, keep them from rolling. I think that'll work in that higher position above this railing. I'm going to see if this one hasn't been opened up near as much. Yeah, that one's a little tighter. This is the side of the ship that's going to be on display, so what we do in the back isn't quite near as critical. But with this little bit smaller opening, the glue will help hold these in that position where they're straight. So I think that'll work. We just got to make up two for the main mast and two for the rear mast. So I'm going to go ahead and make up 4 more using this same process. And then we'll install those all at the same time. Then we'll be ready to tie rat lines, which is going to be a tedious, back-breaking job. Well, at least we got all the shrouds and the dead eyes installed. That's a big step. Finished out the ones that we were lacking this week, and now we're working on these boards. Should have turned the light on inside this display case. And you hear the thunder and lightning out there. It's raining today. Here in Florida, that's a common occurrence in the summertime. We don't think nothing of it. Well, I was mowing the lawn this morning, and I had to quit, let the rain go by, and then finish it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut 4 more boards, mark them, and then cut them for this main mast and mizzen mast, and then we'll fit those and glue them up in there. I think they're going to match the prints pretty good, so that's the plan. So this is for the main mast. That Dremel makes quick work of it. I usually got to put it back in here. I opened it up some more. This is just the initial grind. So in the process of getting this one out and cutting it and marking it, I'm doing 2 at a time. I just put that paper there so that you can see, because the background sort of blends away everything. So in the process, I'm marking this one and cutting it for both sides. I said, okay, let's mark and cut that one too. Here again, I did it. This rope is supposed to go up yonder to the top crow's nest. That's what makes the spacing even down there. So I cut the rope up in here real close to the top and put a little super glue on one piece and then a little glue on the other piece, and then rolled them together, some wax paper in my fingers. I'll let that dry for a while, and then we gotta do the same kind of splice to the dead eye on the other side. And we'll splice it in there, and because that last dead eye goes up here. And just like I did on the other one, I messed up, got in that mass production roll, and here I am backing up punting again. Well, we caught it before because this board only has 3 shrouds in it instead of 4. So when I was sticking the board up there, I glanced over to the print and it's, oh, that board looks a little shorter than, sure enough. So we haven't saved the day yet, but at least we caught it before it got too much further along. That'd be terrible if I had tied rat lines on all those and then have to take them all and cut them all. Oh man, that would have been a mess because glue everywhere. Well, it's really raining good now outside. Coming down. All the plants are getting watered. Okay, so we got the boards glued on to the lanyards. And we got the last dead eye tied up to the correct position. So that's a good step. In the process, ready for rat lines. We'll do those next. The board's over here. I think while I'm tying rat lines, I'll add some cinching around the boards to make them match the pictures in the book. But that will work. Came out pretty good. Fairly level. I think to match the prints pretty good, so another step of progress. Oh, here's some shots from the inside. What we'll be able to see in the cutaway view. There's the breadfruit plants. So I got a lot of barrels and crates and packages to make up and install in here, but the structure part is done other than paint. And one of my followers on YouTube suggested I paint some of these ribs white to help contrast the darkness of inside. And another one said I need to put some lights in there and light it up. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think I'm gonna put some lights in there, put them up in the ceiling. That'd be a fun little project. That's the cook stove where the chimney comes up through the deck. Stairway going down. And the anchor ropes, I still haven't found a good spot for them yet. And there'll be a lot of other stuff that gets installed in here. Fill it up. I think I'm gonna make some hammocks and down here below decks. Put a bunch of hammocks in this area, I think. Depends on where all the barrels and packages and everything go. Next week we're gonna work on the rat lines, and I might, instead of that, I might even work on more of the standing rigging that supports the mast in this perpendicular format, because there's several of those cables. We got these here, here. Ones that the sails go on, I might save. We've got some big blocks that part of the standing rigging. I'm gonna have to get the other prints out. We got a bunch of these that we got to hook up to the dead eyes that are hanging on the front there. But yeah, I might do a bunch of that standing rigging before I do rat lines. There's quite a bit there. Oh, probably 2 weeks worth of finishing the standing rigging before we start rat lines. I know the rat lines are going to be a tedious, time-consuming thing, but that's a major accomplishment. Once you get those done, you're down to the sails and the yard arms. So get the standing rigging out of the way, so all we got left is rat lines. Thanks for watching.